Welcome, witches, to the Do I Like This Author episode 1. I am going to do this vlog style, and I want to start a series where I pick out an author that I have multiple other books on my TBR, but I have yet to read a single one of them. I want to see, am I going to keep adding these books to my TBR? Do I actually like this author? Why are they on my TBR? But I have yet to pick a single book. The first one we're going to start with is J.T. Ellison. This is a mystery thriller author. I had 3 of her books on my TBR. First one is It's One of Us. This is following a woman who is having fertility treatment. She really wants to have her baby. Unfortunately, during this time, her husband, Park, they notify him, your son's accused of murder. And he's like, I don't have any kids. There's a lot of confusion. Turns out he previously donated his and he potentially has a child, and maybe more than one of them, and potentially one who is accused of murder. Another one I have is Lie to Me. This is following a couple who on the outside looks super happy, super perfect, but there's definitely some relationship strains, some financial strains. She leaves a note one day that says, "Don't come look for me." Now he's the town gossip of like, why did your wife leave you? What's going on? He's got to figure out where she went, what's going on, all of that. Another one I have is A Very Bad Thing, which I only have a Kindle copy of. I will probably end up buying the book depending on how much I like it. Following a super fantastic author. She's on a book tour. She's on the last night of her book tour, sees somebody in the crowd, freaks her out, and then the next day she shows up murdered. And people are like, why is she murdered? What is happening? And that's the story. If you know me, I love a really great domestic thriller. Like, these are all right up my alley. I think that they're going to be a success, but come along with me as we read each of them and we will discuss afters. Welcome to my closet. I'm about to pick out my clothes to go for a run, and you, like always, are going to come along with me, but I wanted to give a really quick update to It's One of Us by J.T. Ellison. This has come out banging. This is a quick synopsis. Olivia and Park Bender are trying to have a baby. Park, in his past life, has donated his sperm. Turns out he has kids. One of his kids has now been accused of murder. Let's get into where we're at here. We are on chapter 13, so 96, so almost to page 97. This came out banging. I have a couple of tabs that I noted, specifically this page. Just how she opened it was so relatable as a woman, and the loss of autonomy, the loss of being seen as a person that has capabilities and something other than an object or a piece or a body part. You really have to go read it. I mean, it's the whole page. I don't want to read it. I'll just read one paragraph. A woman, missing or otherwise, is best viewed in parts. It takes away her power. It eliminates her strength. If she is broken into pieces, dehumanized, depersonalized, she is no longer a threat. She is only eyes, breast, hips. The number on the tag in the back of her jeans, the color of her hair, especially when in hands. Bejeweled, adorned, shaved, plucked, contoured, acceptable only when twisted into someone else's ideals. And it still goes on talking about like how women are forced to cross the street if they're uncomfortable, or smile because it makes you prettier. You said yes, he didn't mean it. Well, you drank it. Her writing is really great right now. The pacing's really great. So we started off with all that. Then it is multiple point of view. So we're seeing it from the wife. It opens with the murderer's point of view, but you don't know who that is. The fear of who he killed being found. And Beverly is killed, and then her body's found. And they have a suspect, which is Park's son. We open with the wife has another miscarriage after almost making it through the first trimester, we find out. And she walks down, goes to tell her husband. Detectives show up saying, we found your DNA at a murder site. No, it's not necessarily you, but obviously her first thought is, oh my God, my husband's a murderer. But one of your sons, she's confused because he doesn't have a son. He's confused because he doesn't have a son. At this point, we know because of the synopsis that he's donated his sperm, but this hasn't said it at this point. She leaves, and we're finding out more about the dynamic with he has a fraternal twin brother and her relationship with his fraternal twin brother, and also his sister, which is like her best friend. So we're learning about the family dynamic. We're learning about all the struggles and how her miscarriages are affecting her and how they're affecting him. We're learning that he has previously had an ex-girlfriend who's showed up missing and then turned up dead in a very similar way to this Beverly girl. So it's casting a lot of shadows and a lot of questions. Olivia's obviously questioning, is this somebody I want to have a kid with? Why is this happening? So that's where we're at. I'm absolutely loving it so far. It is heart-wrenching because they do talk about miscarriage. It's very sad. So do take warning with that. Pacing's great. I think that first chapter really sealed it with me. So I'm hoping that we continue that way. Let's go for a run, and I will keep you updated on how we're doing. Pick out my outfit. I love how I say pick out my outfit like I care. I wear about the same 4 or 5 things when I run, so we're not really all that fancy and special. We have our shirt, we have our shorts. Go. So we have had a heck of a week. Little backstory, my son got diagnosed with pneumonia, then he got an ear infection, and between all the medicine, he ended up having a very severe allergic reaction. We ended up at the emergency room. We've been released. We're home. We're settling. So we're going to have a day of comfy and relax. We're going to be getting a lot of this read today. The point of this is just to tell you that we are going to go have some snuggly reading sprints now. That is all hail. We have not gotten nearly as much reading as I wanted done. I finally got Charlie to bed. He's had a heck of a day. Despite the ER visit, we've struggled to keep his reaction under control. Fine. For now, he's asleep. I was just reading, and I thought, I think I'm figuring it out. Like, I think I'm solving it. I think there's something more with Park's brother. I think there's something more with Park. And then a twist just came in. Was not expecting that. And I was literally like, wait, what? I'm curious if other people would, because I think it's a pretty surprising twist. Loving this book. I'm almost 75% of the way through at this point. I think I may be up all night finishing reading it. Who needs sleep? Anyways, yes, really like it, and I will keep you updated. But if you've read this, can you please tell me if you saw that twist coming? I need to know. Okay, let me go finish reading. I am looking rough. Like really rough. Don't mind me. I'm about to go change to do a run, but I realized I didn't do the update on It's One of Us. So I finished It's One of Us by JT Ellison yesterday. Loved. This is a 5-star every second of this. There's a couple of plot twists I didn't see coming. There's a couple of things that I thought were going to happen that didn't happen, but I don't think, I mean, maybe there's some people who can predict, but I don't think that the twists are predictable. And let me just do a quick reenactment of me. What? That's my reenactment. I should really be an actress. I'm not just an author I'm liking, but maybe even loving. However, now we are starting on the second book, which is A Very Bad Thing by JT Ellison. I am about to start Saturday. So this is multiple point of views. It starts with the prologue. So my battery on my mic just died, and I noticed that like at the end of that little bit I was doing about the movie, so I was just listening to the book, I was listening to it and realized that you can't hear
pretty much the last bit that I said, so this is probably not as descriptive as it would have been had I done this in the first take. See the prologue where the mother is like writing a letter to her daughter saying, sometimes you do a really bad thing, you can't always control what it is, or it's not necessarily a plan that you wake up in, all these kind of things. Really interesting. Then you go into Riley, who's this reporter. And she's been asked to be the reporter that reports on Columbia Jones, who's this author who's really well known. She's on this book tour, and she knows that she was specially requested. It had to be her. She like paid an astronomical amount to make sure it's this girl. And she's like, I don't know why it's me. We know that she had a conversation when she was in Houston with Columbia, Riley and Columbia was going to tell Riley something that was really important. They got interrupted, and Riley's dying to know what it is. Then we see from Darian's point of view, which is Columbia's daughter, who works on the book tour too. So they've been following on this book tour so much, it's on the last night, that they almost know, because it's so choreographed, what's going to happen. So they're not necessarily paying super close attention. But they notice that a gentleman stands up, kind of stares at Columbia. Columbia doesn't say anything, no words are exchanged, but you see her kind of leaves. She goes, why? And he fades. Now we're learning that there was a stalker. Could it be this stalker? There's questions, but Columbia's like, we're not mentioning a stalker. Stalker doesn't exist. They're all out of the hospital now. It's that evening. They're back at the hotel, and Riley is making the rounds back to her room, which is on the same level as Darian and Columbia's. She overhears Columbia and Darian, mother and daughter, arguing. And it's indicating that maybe Columbia knew who the gentleman was. There's something more to it. Is he a stalker? Why is it there? And just brings up a lot of questions. And that's where we're at. We are about to start Saturday. So given that the book synopsis says she sees a man faints on her last night of the book tour, next day wakes up in a puddle of blood, I have a feeling that is what's coming next, is we're going to find out that she's dead, what's going on. I am enjoying her style of writing, and I think that's what's doing it for me. Yesterday I was watching a video by Emily Fox, and she was talking about how she hates that we feel the need to apologize for our appearances, and I cannot relate more, especially in this moment, looking a little rough. We did a night 10K last night, and starts at 9 o'clock, which is after bedtime for us, and then I couldn't go to sleep. I'm running off very little sleep. My mom is watching the kid. What is this? Sorry. I'm clearly not here all the way. I have coffee and a book, which we'll get to. My mom's watching the kids this morning. Well, my mommy and my dad, they spent the night over there. She told me not to come over till a little bit later because the kids had some stuff they wanted to do this morning with her. I'm getting some impromptu doggy snuggles and book. I finished yesterday A Very Bad Thing by J.T. Ellison. I liked it. It wasn't as good as It's One of Us, but it was still really good. I really like her writing. It's descriptive enough. There's enough character building. It's all done really well. It's not flowery descriptions, but it is descriptive enough. I really like that. And at first I was like, oh, I like this. But what I loved about It's One of Us was just the twist and the things that I didn't feel like you could get. And it was going, and I was like, oh, I think I know, like, this is going to be easy. And a couple of times I was like, okay, that was there. Then the twist of the who was, I was like, I didn't see that. I could see how somebody could guess it. However, and I was still loving it. It was still like a 4 for me. But the very last end, didn't see that coming. That got me. And then I'm like, but I need more.
I need to know like what happens after that. Really bumped it up. I think it was really well done. It's still going to stay at 4 for me, and I'm really liking her. I'm excited to get to the next one, which is going to be Lie to Me. This one is, I've looked at what all these are about, but now I can't remember what this one is about. Oh, I think this is the one where the wife leaves the husband. They have like the perfect idyllic life. Yeah, Sutton and Ethan Montclair's idyllic life is not as it appears. They seem to be made for each other, but the truth is ugly. Consumed by professional and personal betrayals and financial woes, the two both love and hate each other. Tension mounts, Sutton disappears, leaving behind a note not to look for her. So yeah, I really love me. What was that? I really love me a good domestic thriller. And then we're going to do quick reads for a little bit before I go get the kids and drink some coffee. As always, I absolutely love doing reading sprints with Gavin Reads It All. And yes, I'm going to turn on some really old Gavin Reads It All and read it.
Yeah, that's actually what happened yesterday. I do apologize.
You ready to read my book?
This old AI. Still, I'm not even get myself. I'm not even get myself. It was just taking a 24-hour sprint. Exactly. And it was pissful. I did not fit.
This is the extremely unpleasing angle. Hello. No, we're having a sickness going through the family, and I'm feeling it today. Again, it's like the second day. So I came home a little early to lay down before life starts, and I'm going to read a little bit more of Lie to Me. I'm going to try and read it, but I may end up listening a little bit to the audiobook. So we'll see how productive I am. There's a twist coming. There's been some hints of it. I haven't quite figured it out. I thought I had it, and then there was another clue drop that told me that I was incorrect. And then later on, I won't say what it is to spoil it, another clue was dropped that like clearly disregarded that theory. So I haven't figured it out, and I'm very curious. They're to the point that they pretty much have all the evidence against the husband, Ethan. However, it's even Holly, the detective, talks about it's too perfect of a package for that to make sense. But everybody else is like, no, people aren't as smart as they think they are. And so she's still questioning it. And it does seem too perfect for that to make sense. So I'm curious how it's going. I am enjoying it. I like this one so far better than A Very Bad Thing, but not quite as much as It's One of Us. Long story short, I am enjoying this. I'm going to see where it goes. I also love that they call her Holly Golightly because I loved Audrey Hepburn at Breakfast at Tiffany's growing up, so I love that little nod. I look so lovely. I am sicker than a dog right now. So I'm going to just finish out the Lie to Me by J.T. Ellison. I'm more than likely just going to listen to it while I kind of do something mindless. Who knows? Anyways, I am liking it. There's some twists and stuff that's happened that like it's giving very Gone Girl. And you can kind of see that, and as things happen, you can kind of pick up on that. So it's not quite, twists are coming, but it's not quite as like shocking as I think it would have been. It's still well done, and I'm still enjoying it. But yeah, I will let you know after I finish. So let's go get it done. I look kind of crazy right now.
Okay, I know this is a hot mess, whatever. I'm reading Lie to Me. The viewpoint has changed and kind of the purpose has changed just to go with the story. I don't want to say too much because it gives it away. But the problem is like I don't feel good, so I'm having to try and pay attention. It's kind of shifted enough that now I don't know. I'm on the struggle bus right now. However, I keep trying to like sit up. I went and put my Literally Dead book club shirt on because it was so cold, and I was like, maybe this will get me into reading vibes. I love planning, and I am obsessed with watching people's like come plan with me or habit trackers or whatever. And I'm running out of breath, so I'm such a hot mess. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I've been trying to like do with like a little notebook or whatever and like make my own. And I was like, I used to be obsessed with plum paper, especially like in my college days and everything. So I went one night and designed and ordered me a new plum paper planner, and it just got here today. So I feel like that's a positive. I keep trying to like get up and go sit somewhere else or do somewhere else or just like sit up in bed, and then I find myself laying down. We're gonna unbox this really fast. Something to brighten our day. It's a beautiful day to make plans. Agreed. I don't know if you've ever had a plum paper or not. I have always really enjoyed plum paper. They're very customizable, like my days horizontal or vertical versus horizontal. Customize them in size, and you can customize the covers. They have hard cover now, which I thought about. What I really like about them is, they got a calendar. This is not at all, what's that called? This is not at all sponsored, although I love plum paper. I would stand them. But so each always use these as like my top priorities or whatever for the week, like the 3 main things that I wanted to get done, things to remember, some notes. I always get extra notes out of it. And this is the first time I've done one this small. Usually I do bigger. I was trying to go smaller. But I like them hour by hour because I like block scheduling. It's a lot smaller than I'm curious if I will be able to block schedule. But then also, since now I'm trying to be a cool little YouTuber, they have this blog planning. It's not for YouTube, but I figured that I'd be able to kind of plan out what I'm going to post and kind of dates, topics, and it has like, did you write, edit, or post, which I do kind of do that. I also add in thumbnail. So yeah, and you can like track your stuff. I had some other stuff. I had him add in to-do list because I love to plan projects and like break down projects into sections to like wrap my head around it. I like graph paper in case I want to do any like specialized habit tracking. You can get graph paper, you can get note paper because I also got note papers, like noting. And then they have this tracker, which I'm not sure how I'm gonna like this, but I've seen some lady on YouTube been doing it. And you like color the stuff, but you like this one would be like what your habit is, and then you put in the colors, I think, if you do it or not. I've been kind of trying to track. And then they also have one for your mood. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to like that, which is why I got the graph paper so I can do my planning kind of how I like it. And then it has like some reflect and passwords and stuff like that, and little folder. And then I went a little cray cray and like a daily planner, just so I can be like, this I was going to use for work. Mostly it's just cute. I don't need it. We use one of these. I usually get mine from Target, but Target started on Sunday, and this one I can make start on Monday, which is when we plan the meals to start on Monday through Sunday. So I needed another one of those, and I was going to try that. And then I got stickers. Do I need stickers? No. However, right, these are workout stickers. I thought it would be fun to make it pretty. And then we have some gardening stickers because we have these garden beds in our backyard that since we've moved in here, we haven't done anything with, but my middle, he at the old house would love to garden with me. He made his own like wildflower bed. Anyways, long story short, I think that that would be a fun thing to do with him. This is just for Marnie. I thought it might be kind of fun to like put when she has a vet appointment or like when I need to give her heartworm. Because I feel like I'm always like, oh, I missed the day, and then I do it back a day. And then these are just cute. Do I need them? No. I'll find a purpose for them. And then I love the moon. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna like how tiny it is just based off the size, but I'm hopeful because I think that this is a good size. And keep notes short. So yeah. I've been watching reading sprints with Gavin. I did take like a 3-hour nap, which my body needed. Go back to that and reading, and I have a feeling, I guess I can't look. I have like an hour left in my audiobook, so I'm sure I will finish it even before the kids get home. So, yeah. See you shortly.
So, a little bit of backstory. I know there's clips in there. I've been sick over the last week. Ignore the red spot on my neck. I'm fine. I think I'm just having a little hive. No anaphylaxis, don't worry. And a little bit of backstory on that. My body has like no ability to process histamines. If the camera's shaking, my dog's sleeping right down next to me. Anyways, so sometimes, especially like after sickness and stuff, I get a lot of hives. And sometimes when I run, especially when I eat certain foods, which I'm not 100% sure what those are, we're learning the hard way, I will go into anaphylaxis when I run. EpiPen, ER, the whole thing. It's quite fun. Anyways, it's called food-based exercise-induced anaphylaxis because I have like anti-IG. And it doesn't matter. You don't need my medical history. So technically, I'm allergic to running when I eat certain foods. But I'm not going to stop running because it's really good for my mental health. Just ask my husband. Anyways, let's focus. Going to drink out of the Charlie mug for today. So we're going to do a little bit more casual, laid back, just because I don't have the energy to stand. I kind of had fun the other day when I filmed some other casual laid backs. So let's try it. Let's recap because I feel like I'm really scattered. I finished Lie to Me, which, let me grab the book. So I did end up finishing Lie to Me by J.T. Ellison. I enjoyed this book, and at first I was thinking, I think I like this one better than A Very Bad Thing. Definitely not better than It's One of Us. That is still my favorite. Twists were twisting. There was definitely things that I didn't see coming. It was giving a little bit Gone Girl. It was a little, it's got a little bit of Gone Girl, but it's not like a Gone Girl per se. And I don't want to say exactly that because it'll kind of spoil it. There were definitely twists in there that you don't see coming. Some of it was kind of predictable. I don't think who it was predictable, but once you kind of figure it out, you can put some pieces together, etc. So I think this was well done. The point of view, this is multiple POV, but the specific point of view like really heavily changed to somebody else towards the end, which is in line with the story. I don't think that was a bad choice. It just happened to be the time when I was getting really sick and I was trying to read to kind of escape. So I think I was already struggling because like one day I couldn't even bring myself to bother to read because I felt so awful. I wasn't watching TV. You don't need my story. So I think that had an effect on this. Here's the thing. I'm just going to grab the other books because we're going to do the outro. Okay. The thing is this one had twists and turns throughout it. I loved the writing. I really think that just like this page in general spoke to me about women feeling the need to not be alone or stand up for themselves, or that they're kind of not their own human being. And, you know, women feel so many things more than emotions. The hand on the shoulder, the knuckle grazing the breast, the accidental nudge of the behind when bent over, the laughs and the whistles, the fumble passes, the never-ending worry, the dirty jokes, the stares. Yes, when viewed in parts, a woman no longer matters. And sometimes, as now, this kills her. So I just think that I wish I could read the whole page. A woman's told so many things. Cross the street when you feel uncomfortable. Smile, you're so much prettier when you smile. Don't wear that ponytail. Learn to defend yourself. Here, drink this. You said yes. He didn't mean it. And I can't tell you how many times, just in my personal life at work, that I will have somebody say something extremely sexist, and it's, well, you are a female, or if you weren't a female, I think that you could do this. And it's sad to say that that's not how it should be, or it is. And mind you, I work in an extremely male dominated industry and field. Like on my particular team, I'm the only female. So there is that caveat to life. And I worked at a place once where I was the only female in the entire company. It was a small company. There was like 25 of us. So that's not really completely that shocking. I think that there's some of that in my experience, just given heavily that this one kind of spoke to me in some ways with some of the things that had happened in this story. I think also I read the author's acknowledgments, and I think that you can see her personal story so heavily in this, and that emotion of probably some of the things that she felt. And I don't want to say she did because I don't know, but I think that that really shines through. And there's twists throughout this that are jaw dropping. I don't think you're going to see them coming. I just think that this was absolutely my favorite and 100% well executed. 5 stars, hands down. I'm excited to read it again, see if I can pick up on it sooner. Highly recommend. Now, a very bad thing. I enjoyed it. It was fine. It is like the longer of the books. I don't think it necessarily dragged. I don't think any of these dragged. The thing with this one, though, is I felt like, oh, this is predictable. I'm getting it. I liked some of it, but some of it was like, this is a little cheesy, overdone. But what was just like, nope, I'm sold, is that end and that twist. Like you think, literally, you think you are done with the story. You solved it. And when you think you solved it, that's even a twist. And then all of a sudden, like at the end, they're just like, we're just going to drop this. No. So this one brought it up. And I would say this ending just keeps bringing me back to, I maybe like it more than this. I really did like this. There are still twists and turns. She does a great job with that. There's not too much predictability in any of these. To wrap this up and stop rambling, get the coffee for this. The real question and the whole purpose of this vlog was, do I like this author? And I think the answer is, I don't like this author. I love this author. All these books are 4 stars and above. I saw on Kindle Unlimited that one of her books was one of the Kindle Unlimited Prime, like the Prime of the month or whatever they're called. My brain's not braining. And I said yes so fast to this, and I want to read that one. So long story short, love this author. This is fun. Starting it off is a success. And now we will have to pick the next author. So around for part 2, where we pick another author. And if you have any specific authors you think I should try, because eventually I'm going to run out of the ones that I have, let me know, and maybe I will add them to Do I Like This Author? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, witches.